My name is Seraphine Vale, 31 years old, and I worked as a software architect in Crest Harbor. I also own 25% of a startup that was doing pretty well. I had worked my ass off to get where I was, and I was proud of what I had built. My family was a different story. There was my dad, Rowan, my mom, Ilara, and my younger brother, Darren, who was 23. Growing up, things were okay until Darren was born. I was 8 years old when he came along, and that was when everything changed. My parents just stopped seeing me. It was like I became invisible overnight, and Darren became the center of their universe. Darren got everything. When he wanted to go to football camp, they sent him. When he turned 16, they bought him a brand new BMW. They even got him an apartment near the university, even though he dropped out after his freshman year. Meanwhile, I started working after school when I was 16 just to buy myself a used Honda. I got into Northridge University on a full scholarship because there was no way my parents were going to pay for it. I worked part-time through college to cover textbooks and everything else I needed. I never complained about it. I just put my head down and worked, and it paid off. 3 years ago, I bought a house in a nice area with a view of the lake. It was mine, and I was damn proud of it. I gave my parents a spare key to the house. It was supposed to be for emergencies, and so they could water my orchids when I was traveling for work or taking a vacation. I had a collection of orchids that I really loved, and my mom had offered to take care of them. I thought it was a nice gesture, something that might bring us closer. That was stupid of me. 6 months ago, I came back from a conference in Hokkaido, Japan, and found out my mother had thrown a party at my house for Darren. She did not ask me. She did not tell me. She just did it. I walked in to find empty beer bottles everywhere, stains on my carpet, and one of my orchids knocked over and broken. I lost it. I called my mom, and we had a huge fight. She acted like I was being unreasonable, like it was no big deal. Eventually, I forgave them because they were my family, and that is what you are supposed to do, right? But I also installed a video surveillance system. I did not tell anyone about it. Not my parents, not Darren, not anyone. I just wanted to know if something like that happened again. Fast forward to last Tuesday. I was sitting at my desk at work reviewing some code when I got a notification on my phone. The motion sensors on my cameras had been triggered. I figured it was probably a delivery or something, but I opened the app anyway. What I saw made my blood run cold. My parents were in my house. My dad was measuring the walls of my living room with a tape measure. My mom was standing next to him typing notes into her phone. And Darren was sprawled out on my couch like he owned the place. I turned up the volume on my phone. "This wall is 14 feet, my dad said, reading the tape measure. My mom typed something. "That will be plenty of room for his TV and the gaming setup." "This place is perfect," Darren said from the couch. "Way better than my current dump. I can't believe Seraphine has been hoarding all this space for herself." My dad chuckled. "Well, she will not be hoarding it much longer." My mom walked over to the window. "We will move your stuff in when she goes to Ridgemont next month. Once everything is here, she will not make a scene. She will just accept it." "Are you sure?" Darren asked. She was pretty pissed about the party. My mom waved her hand dismissively. "She got over it. She always does. Seraphine is not the type to cause family drama. She will complain for a day or two, and then she will let it go." My dad nodded. "Your mother is right. Besides, once your things are in the apartment, what is she going to do? Throw her own brother out on the street? She is not that cold." Darren grinned. "I knew you guys would come through. This is going to be great." I sat there at my desk, staring at my phone, shaking with rage. They were planning to move Darren into my house without asking me. They were going to do it while I was out of town, so I could not stop them. And they thought I would just roll over and accept it. I thought about all the years I spent being invisible. All the times Darren got whatever he wanted while I had to fight for every scrap. All the money they poured into him while I worked myself to exhaustion. And now they wanted to take my house. I closed the app and sat back in my chair. My hands were shaking, but my mind was clear. I was not going to let this happen. I was not going to roll over. I was not going to be invisible anymore. I opened my messages and texted Darren. "Hey, want to come over for dinner on Saturday? I was thinking we could do a family thing. You, me, mom, and dad. It has been a while." He responded almost immediately. "Sure, sounds good." I put my phone down and started planning. I had 4 days to get ready. I spent those 4 days pulling together every piece of documentation I could find. I went through my bank statements, my emails, my text messages. I made spreadsheets. I printed everything out and organized it into folders. I found records showing that over the past 6 years, I had lent Darren $82,500. He had never paid back a single cent. Every time he came to me with some emergency or some new business idea, I gave him money because he was my brother. And every time he promised he would pay me back, he never did. I also found evidence of 5 different business projects he had started. All of them had failed. All of them had been funded by my parents. They had poured money into his schemes over and over again, and he had nothing to show for it. Then I remembered something. 3 months ago, I got a message on Facebook from a woman named Leora Kensett. She said she was Darren's girlfriend, and she needed to talk to me about something important. I dug up that conversation. Leora had told me that Darren had used her credit cards to fund another one of his schemes. This time it was some kind of cryptocurrency course teaching people how to make money trading crypto. He had racked up $51,300 on her cards and had not paid any of it back. She sent me receipts, credit card statements, everything. I went through all of it again, and that was when I noticed something I had missed the first time. Darren had registered his LLC for this cryptocurrency course using my address, my home address. He had done it without asking me, without telling me. He had used my property to set up what was clearly a fraudulent business. I sat back and looked at everything I had gathered. This was not just about the house anymore. This was about years of being used and ignored and taken for granted. I also reached out to Leora again. I told her what I had discovered and what my parents were planning. She was pissed and she wanted to help. We made a plan. Saturday was going to be very interesting. Saturday evening arrived and I was ready. I had set the dining table like nothing was wrong. I even cooked a nice meal. Roast chicken, mashed potatoes, green beans. The kind of dinner my mom used to make when I was a kid, back when she still cared about me. My parents showed up first. My dad gave me a hug and told me the house looked great. My mom kissed my cheek and commented on how nice the table looked. They were so comfortable, so confident. They had no idea what was coming. Darren arrived 15 minutes late like always. He walked in wearing expensive sneakers and a designer jacket that I knew he could not afford on his own. We sat down at the table and for the first 20 minutes, everything was normal. We talked about work, about the weather, about nothing important. My mom complimented the chicken. My dad asked about my startup. Darren barely said anything. Too busy eating. Then my mom put down her fork and looked at me with that expression I knew too well. The one that meant she was about to ask me for something. "Seraphine, honey, we wanted to talk to you about something." My dad cleared his throat. "It's about Darren. His lease is coming up and his landlord is raising the rent significantly. We were thinking, you have all this space here and you're traveling so much for work. It seems like it would make sense for Darren to stay here for a while. Just temporarily," my mom added quickly. "Until he gets back on his feet." Darren looked at me with this expectant expression like it was already decided. I took a sip of water. Back on his feet from what? My dad frowned. "Well, you know, things have been tight for him lately." "Things are always tight for Darren," I said. "When are they not tight?" My mom's smile got stiff. "Seraphine, there is no need to be like that. We are family. Family helps each other." "You're right," I said. "Family should help each other." "That's interesting because I have been helping Darren for years. Let me ask you something, Darren. Do you remember how much money you have borrowed from me over the past 6 years?" Darren shifted in his seat. "I don't know, a few thousand." $82,500, I said. $82,500 and you have not paid back 1 cent. My dad set down his fork. "Seraphine, what is this about?" "This is about the fact that you 3 think I am stupid," I said. I pulled out my phone and set it on the table. This is about the fact that you came into my house 4 days ago without asking and planned to move Darren in while I was in Ridgemont. I pressed play on my phone. Their voices filled my dining room. My dad measuring the walls, my mom taking notes, Darren talking about how perfect my house was, how much better than his current place, their plan to move him in while I was gone, their certainty that I would not fight back. When the recording ended, there was complete silence. My mom opened her mouth, but before she could say anything, the doorbell rang. "Excuse me," I said, standing up. "That must be our other guest." I opened the door and Leora Kensett walked in. She was a small woman with dark hair and sharp eyes. She looked nervous but determined. "Leora," I said loudly enough for my family to hear. "Thanks for coming. Everyone, this is Leora." Darren's face went white. "What the hell is she doing here?" "She is here because she has something to share," I said. "Leora." Leora walked into the dining room and looked directly at Darren. Her hands were shaking, but her voice was steady. "You used my credit cards," she said. "You told me it was for our future, for a business that would make us both rich. You racked up $51,300 on my cards for some cryptocurrency course scam. And then you spent the money on clubs and poker games and renting fancy cars." My mom looked horrified. "Leora, I am sure there has been some misunderstanding." "There is no misunderstanding," Leora said. "I have all the receipts, all the statements. He destroyed my credit." I pulled out a folder from the sideboard. "And that is not all. Darren registered his LLC using my home address without my permission. He used my property to run a fraudulent business." "It's not fraudulent," Darren said, his voice rising. "Those courses are legitimate." "Really?" said. "Because the FTC does not think so. There is currently an investigation into your business practices, and 3 of your students have already filed lawsuits against you." My dad stood up. "This is ridiculous. You are making things up." "Am I?" I pulled out more documents and spread them on the table. "Here are the court filings. Here are the complaints. Here is the evidence that Darren has been selling fake cryptocurrency courses using stolen educational materials. He charged people $2,450 each and gave them nothing." Darren pushed back from the table. "You are crazy. You have always been jealous of me." "Jealous?" I laughed, and it sounded harsh even to me. "Of what?" "Your failed businesses. Your debts. The fact that Mom and Dad have spent their retirement money bailing you out over and over." I turned to my parents. "I have documentation of 5 business projects you funded for him. All failures. And now you want me to give up my home so he can live here rent-free while he runs another scam." My mother's eyes filled with tears. "How can you be so cruel? He is your brother. And I am your daughter," I said. "But you have not treated me like one since I was 8 years old." My father stood up, his chair scraping loudly against the floor. "You are going to regret this. When you are old and alone, do not come crying to us." "I won't," I said. They left, slamming the door behind them. The house was suddenly very quiet. Leora sat down at the table, her hands still shaking. "Thank you," she said, "for backing me up." "Thank you for coming," I said. "Are you going to sue him?" "Yes," she said. "My lawyer says I have a strong case." "Good," I said. "He deserves it." The next day I blocked all their phone numbers. Every single one. My mom, my dad, Darren. I was done. A week after the dinner, federal fraud charges were filed against Darren. I found out about it from the news before anyone tried to contact me. I was sitting at my desk when my coworker sent me a link. "Hey, isn't this your brother?" I clicked on it and there was Darren's face on the local news website. The headline read, "Crest Harbor Man Arrested for Cryptocurrency Course Fraud." The article said that federal agents had searched his apartment and found everything. Fake reviews he had written himself to make his courses look legitimate. Stolen educational materials he had copied from real cryptocurrency experts. Lists of students who had paid him $2,450 each for worthless courses. There were about 40 students who had been scammed. 40 people who trusted him and got nothing in return. They were all filing lawsuits. Darren was arrested. His mugshot was online. He looked angry in it. Not scared or sorry, just angry. Felt nothing. Maybe I should have felt something, some kind of sadness that my brother was going to jail, but I just felt empty. 2 days later, my Uncle Harlan called me. He was my dad's older brother, and I had always liked him. He was the reasonable one in the family. "Seraphine," he said when I answered. "I heard about what happened at dinner." "Let me guess," I said. "Dad sent you to talk sense into me." "He tried," Uncle Harlan said. "I told him no. I'm calling because I want you to know that I support you. I have been telling your parents for years that the way they treat you is wrong. I warned them that their favoritism would have consequences. They did not listen." I felt my throat tighten. "Thank you. That means a lot. I have a good lawyer," he said. "If you need help with anything related to Darren or your parents, I will make sure you have representation. Leora too, if she wants it." "I appreciate that," I said. "Your parents made their choices," Uncle Harlan said. "Now they have to live with them. You take care of yourself, Seraphine." After I hung up, I sat there for a long time. It felt good to know that someone in my family saw the truth. Leora's civil lawsuit moved forward quickly. She had all the documentation she needed, and Darren could not fight it from jail. My parents ended up paying the $51,300 to settle the case. They did not want it going to court and becoming more public than it already was. They also had to mortgage their house to pay Darren's bail. $88,000 just to get him out while he waited for trial. I heard about it through Uncle Harlan. My parents were burning through their savings, their retirement fund, everything they had worked for, all for Darren. I did not feel bad about it. They had made their choices. 6 months passed. I focused on my work and my startup. Things were going well. We were getting new investors and my shares were worth more than they had ever been. I was doing fine. Then I got an email from my dad. He sent it from his work address and it was long, really long. He said I had destroyed the family. He said I was heartless and cruel. He said Darren was facing 3 to 5 years in federal prison and it was all my fault. He demanded that I help them, that I pay for a better lawyer, that I do something to fix the mess I had created. I read it twice just to make sure I was not misunderstanding. He actually thought this was my fault. He thought I was the problem. I deleted the email and blocked his work address too. The next day I got a letter from Darren. It was handwritten and the writing was messy and angry. He said he knew my daily routine. He said he knew where I worked, where I shopped, where I went to the gym. He said I was not untouchable. He said I would pay for what I had done to him. It was a threat, a clear, direct threat. I took both the email from my dad and the letter from Darren to the lawyer Uncle Harlan had recommended. Her name was Sarah, and she read through everything with a calm, professional expression. "This is enough for a restraining order," she said, "especially given his criminal case and the fact that he is out on bail. The court will take this seriously." She filed the paperwork that afternoon. The court issued a permanent restraining order. Darren was not allowed to come within 500 feet of me. If he violated it, he would go straight back to jail. I thought that would be the end of it. Oh, I was wrong. 3 weeks later, I was at work when security called me. They said there was someone in the lobby asking for me. They said he was agitated and refused to leave. I went down and there was Darren. He was standing in the middle of the lobby and he looked terrible. His clothes were wrinkled. His hair was messy, and his eyes were wild. "You think you can just ignore me?" he shouted when he saw me. "You think you are better than me?" Security moved toward him, but he kept yelling. "This is all your fault. You ruined my life. You are going to pay for this." "Sir, you need to leave," one of the security guards said. "I am not going anywhere until she hears me," Darren yelled. The security guard pulled out his phone and called the police. Darren saw it and lunged toward me. Security grabbed him before he could get close. The police arrived within minutes. They arrested Darren right there in the lobby. Everyone in the building saw it. It was humiliating, but not for me, for him. Because Darren had violated the restraining order. His bail was revoked. He was taken into custody to wait for his trial. He was not getting out again. At trial, Darren pleaded guilty to the fraud charges. He did not have a choice. The evidence was overwhelming. He was sentenced to 18 months in federal prison, followed by 5 years of probation. He also had to pay back every dollar he had stolen from his students. My parents spent everything they had left paying off his debts and his legal costs. They sold their country house, the one they had been planning to retire in. They had to refinance their main house again. All their retirement savings were gone, everything. Uncle Harlan told me they looked 10 years older. He said my mom cried all the time and my dad barely spoke to anyone. 15 months later, Darren got out of prison. He had served most of his sentence and was released early for good behavior or whatever they call it. I found out because he showed up at my office. I was coming back from a meeting when the receptionist stopped me in the lobby. She looked uncomfortable. "There is someone here to see you," she said. "He says he is your brother. He has been waiting for about an hour." My stomach dropped. "Did you tell security?" "He said he just wants to talk. He promised he would leave if you did not want to see him." I looked across the lobby and there he was. Darren was sitting in one of the chairs by the window. He looked different, thinner, older. His clothes were cheap and he had dark circles under his eyes. He saw me and stood up quickly. "Seraphine," he said. "Please just give me 5 minutes." I should have called security right then. I should have had him thrown out, but some part of me, some stupid part, wanted to hear what he had to say. 5 minutes, I said. "Right here in the lobby, then you leave." He nodded quickly. "Thank you. I just want to say I am sorry. I know I messed up. I know I hurt you and Leora and a lot of other people. I have been thinking about it every day for the past year. I want to make things right." "Make things right," I repeated. "How exactly do you plan to do that?" "I do not know yet," he said. "But I am trying. I am working now. Just a warehouse job, but it is honest work. I am paying back what I owe. I want to show you that I have changed." I looked at him for a long moment. He looked sincere. He really did. But I had seen him lie too many times to believe it. "You are not sorry for what you did," I said. "You are sorry you got caught. There is a difference." "That is not fair," he said. "I paid for my mistakes. I went to prison. I lost everything." "You lost everything because of your own choices," I said. "Not because of me. I did not make you scam people. I did not make you use Leora's credit cards. I did not make you threaten me. You did all of that yourself." His face started to turn red. "You are my sister. You were supposed to help me. You were supposed to have my back." "I did have your back," I said. "For years. I gave you $82,500. I made excuses for you. I believed you when you said you would change. And what did you do? You planned to steal my house." "I was not stealing it," he said, his voice rising. "Mom and Dad just thought it would be better if I stayed there. You were never even home." "It was my home," I said. "Mine, not yours, and you do not get to decide what happens with my property." He took a step closer and I took a step back. "You have always thought you were better than me. Always so perfect, so successful. You could have helped me, but instead you ruined my life." "I ruined your life." I almost laughed. "Darren, you ruined your own life. You are the one who committed fraud. You are the one who threatened me. You are the one who violated a restraining order. I just refuse to let you drag me down with you." "You are selfish," he said. "You are arrogant. You are my older sister and you were supposed to take care of me." "No," I said. "I was not. That was Mom and Dad's job and they failed at it. They turned you into someone who thinks the world owes him everything. Someone who takes and never gives anything back. You are going to need family one day," he said. "And when you do, we will not be there." Good, I said. Because I do not need a family like you. I do not need people who only care about me when they want something. I do not need people who lie and steal and threaten. He stared at me, his face twisted with anger. You are going to regret this. I already told you, I said. You are on probation. You are not supposed to be anywhere near me. If you do not leave right now, I will call your parole officer and tell them you are harassing me. He opened his mouth like he was going to say something else. But then he stopped. He looked at me for a long moment and then he turned and walked out. I watched him go and I felt nothing. No sadness, no regret, nothing. I went back to my office and got back to work. That was 2 years ago. I have not heard from Darren or my parents since. I have no idea what they are doing and I do not care. My life is good now. Really good. I live with my boyfriend Alder Knox in a condo downtown. He is a graphic designer and he is kind and supportive and everything my family never was. We have been together for 1.5 years and I have never been happier. My startup is doing great. My shares are worth enough that I do not have to work full-time anymore if I do not want to. I still do because I love the work, but it is nice to have options. I have friends who actually care about me. I have a life that I built myself surrounded by people who appreciate me and support me. As for my family, I cut them out completely. I do not regret it. They had decades to treat me like I mattered and they chose not to. I do not owe them anything. Sometimes people tell me I should forgive them. That family is family. But those people do not understand. They do not know what it is like to be invisible in your own family. They do not know what it is like to work for everything you have while watching someone else get everything handed to them. I do not need that kind of family. I built my own family now with people who actually give a damn about me, and I am doing just fine.